Alright, so we're going to make one more type of flower. This we're going to do with this yellow paper. But again, you can use whatever type of paper. So this one, it doesn't matter what shape you start with, because we're just going to make a bunch of little circles. So I have a circular little cup here. You can make a big, depending on how big or small you want your flowers to be. I want mine to be somewhat larger, because they're a little bit easier to do. But they do end up a bit bigger. But I'll probably decorate another pencil with them, and so I like them a little bit larger for my little pencil. And you're going to want about 6 of these, because I found that they just look better in 6, but you can do as few or as many as you want, especially if you're doing bigger, you could do fewer of them. But I'm going to just draw 6 little circles right here. So once you have your 6 circles, again, I'm just showing with just one for now. So you're going to take your circle and you're going to fold it in half, as evenly in half as you can. Fold it in half once, so it's a little half circle. Then you're going to take your half circle and fold it in half again. So it's a quarter circle, and then you're going to fold it in half just one more time. One more time. Perfect. So now you have your just little sliver of a circle. And you're going to cut the very, very, very tip off, but make sure to make a very small hole, not a large hole. Just cut the very tip off it, like that. And that will leave a hole in the middle, so then later when we try to attach it to our stem, we can. So then we're going to take our circle, and similar to how we did these ones, these little iris flowers, if you saw my other video, we're going to do about 1/2 inch. You can do less, but try not to do more, like a whole lot less. 1/2 inch or a centimeter away, make a little line, because you don't want to draw, you don't want to cut past that line. So, I've got my little line to tell me where, I don't know if this light glares too much, but it'll show me where not to cut. Now you're just going to make a bunch of little slits. You're just going to cut as many times as you want. Similar to the iris flowers, you just make a couple of these little cuts. And again, once you've made your little frilly little cuts here, you're going to open your circle back up. Here's the edge here. Sometimes you lose the edge, so I'm going to half circle, and then you just try and carefully to just open it back up. And then, so now you have this frilly little sun shape. You'll notice that sometimes where you have the fold, you'll have thicker ones. We're actually going to use that. If you don't, that's fine. Not a big deal. So you're going to take your scissors, and with your circle, I like to use the thicker ones, but you just cut and make a slit all the way to the little hole you cut. So you cut all the way through it. And so now you have a hole. So it's not a full circle anymore. It's kind of like a little frilly Pac-Man, right? So then, once you have your little funny frilly Pac-Man shape, you're going to use either a glue stick or tape here in a minute, and you're going to roll it up a little bit so it kind of makes a cone shape. So you just take the end and cross the ends over, and you can cross them over a lot to make them really dense, or you can cross it over just a little bit to make it really light. But you're just going to cross it over, and then you'll use either a glue stick or tape. Again, I like tape just because it's a little bit easier and it's not so messy. This glue can be kind of messy sometimes. And you're just going to fix that end so that it's not flapping around. So now you have these little these little flowers. So I'm gonna do that 6 more times so that you can see that my little 6, but this is gonna be your individual flower. So I will come back to you as soon as I have those 6 done. Flowers. So now you have these little flower modules, and we'll go ahead and already show you how to make the stem. There's also a couple of ways that you can make the stem. So if you prefer to have a pencil or something on the inside of it, so I'm going to make this pen. You can also just cut a couple of strips if you don't want it to be as thick, like this one. So these little scissors are just so small. Where's my big ones? Right there. You can cut strips this way, or if you're struggling to keep it straight, like I have a hard time cutting straight lines without drawing it on first, you can just use a little cutter here, like this, which I'll do because it's a little bit quicker for the video. So you just need like maybe 2 or 3 of these. So now I have these little strips. If you have a longer pencil or something, you can use the long ways of the paper as well. So I'll take the pen off here, and then you just wrap it. So it'll tape or glue the end to the end of your pencil, kind of at an angle, so it wraps nicely. I'm doing the pen here, and you just kind of wrap it. And if your strip is too long, you can just cut it. If you cut it at like a nice little angle, it'll follow the curve better of your writing utensil that you're wrapping it around. Or if you use just like a stick, if you just wanted a firmer stick to put your flowers on, you could do that as well. And then you just tape it. And then, since often it'll leave like little gaps, I'll do a second one. Just do the same thing, kind of overlapping. So we'll fill in any gaps that the first one left. That's why we cut a couple of these strips here. You just try to wrap it as tight as you can. And I like to put more tape on the bottom just to really secure it, just to kind of wrap it all the way around. It's less likely to come undone, but you could always tape it again later if it starts to kind of come off. So now you have your little stem pen. You can trim the top if you like. So now you have your stem, but you could also make a stem like this where you just roll it. You just take a pencil or some round object and you roll it around it at a diagonal, like so. And then you tape the end. And it'll stay nice and rolled for you, and then you can pull your round object out or leave it in. And so those are two different, these ones tend to be a little bit longer because they're not confined to the width of your pen. So there's your 2 types of stems that you can make. And you could do either type for either type of flower. So there's also that. This next part, I've seen most commonly with hot glue. However, you can use other types of things to glue it together. If I have a wider flower, I'll generally put the wider flower at the top because it covers the whole of the top of your stem a little bit better, like that. You just kind of put it on there, and then you can hot glue it or tape it, or use a glue stick if you have access to a glue stick. So you just put that on the top, hold it there, and just tape around it to keep it nice and fastened on there. go. So there's the top of your flower, and then you can just add the other ones kind of to the sides. You just end up with this kind of fun little flower. So I have these two types of flowers, and you can make a whole bunch in different colors and put them in a vase, and then you have flowers that don't die, which is kind of fun, and they can just stay in your room or your hallway or decorate whatever space you use. Where's my other flower? So I have this flower that I made in another video as well that you snip a little hole in it. You can put the other stem through and tape that up as well and add that. These ones I find work better if you do them a little bit smaller because they're not quite as floppy and don't take up as much space and tape and stuff. These bigger ones, and just tape that down. And there you go. So you have kind of a fun little flower arrangement for your space or for your pen cup or for your grandchildren. So some fun waterless, messless flowers. Enjoy!